This is ELH4X4 doing stuff. Today we're working on a 1976 early model Corvette Stingray. We're going through the air conditioning components and going over a valve in receiver replacement. So come on along. Alright, so we're going to talk about the condenser, the high pressure lines, steel lines, the valve in receiver, and how to go to the valve in receiver eliminator kit. I'll have to get the part number for you on that one. Evaporator, pressure lines coming off of the compressor. We're going to go through how to remove the clutch and the clutch solenoid, the heater control box, and the blower motor, the seal kit, how to take that off of the firewall, and all this other stuff. So let's talk about how we got here. After I installed the heater, or not the heater core, but the core support for this car, I was going off of, or not going off of, but I was pulling vacuum, right? Pulling vacuum on the AC system, and I could not get a vacuum pulled at all. It was leaking just enough. So I went the other way, actually pressurized the system, and it was losing pressure, right? It makes sense. If it doesn't hold vacuum, it's not going to hold pressure. So what I did when I pressurized, I used shop air and pressurized the system that way, and went through with soapy water and hosed everything down. But as you can see, you can really only get to one side of the condenser when it's installed in the vehicle. You can really only get one side of the hoses to see where it's leaking. Get you positioned here, walk you through the location and stuff of the system. The compressor, you can't really see what's going on in the seals of the compressor. If it's leaking underneath, if one of the high pressure bypass valves is leaking. The evaporator sits in this area right here, enclosed in the box, so you can't even test the evaporator to see if it's leaking. All right, so there are, let's go over the box, right? There's two screws that hold the evaporator into the box. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws that hold the cover of the evaporator to the blower box. And then there's 2 nuts. Actually, there's, what did I say? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Right? Man, I can't even count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, because there's one on the inside. I don't even have a light, so you wouldn't be able to see it. Yeah, I don't have the light readily available. Maybe I can use the screw gun. No. So, all right. Anyway, there's a screw on the inside of the vehicle that you can reach near the firewall on the inside. So, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. And a nut up top here two nuts over on this side. Let me get a light. All right, so this is where the location of the blower motor. So there's a nut up top and then a nut down at the bottom that you can reach once you take out the whatever that part of the body is. It keeps a lot of the dirt. That's like a seal. You remove that, you got access underneath. All right, we're going to replace the gasket when it comes through. I ordered a screen from Dock Repair. So that's not it. Yeah, there we go. Right there. Then there. Right, there's a screen that goes in between a firewall and the blower motor. A new seal, like a butyl seal, that gets installed. All right, how does this light keep shutting off? Yeah, so not much to taking it out. You can take out, you got to remove the evaporator cover first. And I was struggling with this heat shield. Just take it off, move it out of the way. You kind of bring everything out. And then the box you can get to the blower motor. You kind of like have to rotate it around and put it in sideways. I guess we can set that up and go like do a dry run as far as taking it out and stuff like that. Sorry about the talking. I mean, this is like a lot of talking points with this video, but if you bear with me, we're going to get to actually going over the components and switching over to the valve and receiver eliminator. All right, so we got the box in, getting ready to take it out. Just to go through and show you the procedure. I'll get you moved over here in a moment to show you what you got to clear and right, the heater control valve. You got to kind of maneuver that out of the way a little bit. We talked about the location of the heater control valve, right? And what I got to deal with is, can you see that? Yeah, this heat shield for the ignition, the spark plug wires, kind of gets in the way. The housing bolts around the evaporator, once you take them out, you're able to kind of we'll push the heater control valve out of the way. Take this and rotate it out. And you got to clear this stud that's located up towards the top and kind of move the heat shield out of the way. If you don't have the heat shield, the thing will come right out, right? Which goes back to the last video that I was talking about when I was doing the core support, and why I understand people get rid of the heat shield. It just gets in the way when you need to do maintenance. I like it. I like the way the spark plug wires are routed. Anyway, tangents, right? Back to what we were talking about. So you kind of rotate the box out of the way, make sure the heater control valve is out of the way. Okay, and we're even dealing with this block right here that we're going to explain later. Two nuts that are holding the housing in. You can reach easily by bringing your arm in and getting to the top nut. I say that now, but there we go. There's going to be that butyl adhesive holding the blower motor box, blower motor housing to the firewall. So once you kind of peel that off, right, and this is where the twisting it around and you kind of want to stay in this area, right, and kind of rotate it in that area, and then you're able to maneuver it that way, all right. Alright, so you kind of almost have to rotate it upside down. Alright, and you're going to kind of put it in the same way when it comes time to put it in. Alright, and rotate it. So completely upside down. Alright, there you go. Alright, so what we're dealing with is blower motor in housing, evaporator in its housing, valve in receiver dryer. We're going to be dealing with the eliminator block and the new accumulator, not accumulator side, dryer receiver. We're going to cover where the hoses go and getting rid of the valve in receiver dryer part. So I have these things hand tight for the most part. For the most part. All right, let me get a wrench for that. That's going to be a 7/16 for the oil return line. and you can't mess it up really, because the threads only work in one way, from the high pressure line coming from the condenser. Okay, your steel line right here is where this eliminator block is going to. Okay, and then it's marked, you can't see it on camera. It says evaporator out, and this does rotate, so you can clock it however you need it. And then you got the line coming from the compressor that will screw into that. Just like that. And then this free running end right here goes to the condenser. The top portion of the condenser, and then the bottom metal line goes to the high pressure switch. And that's how you hook up the eliminator block and the receiver dryer. So now we're going to move on to the compressor, how to remove the clutch, the pulley, and the solenoid, the clutch solenoid. You will need a toolkit for that you can rent at a lot of the places. I just opted to buy it. That way I have one. All right. I think that's 9/16. 9/16 nut. Take that off. I had already broke it loose. This is a special nut too. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, yeah, you got to be careful. So they put the sticker here, but then it says, open this side up. Okay? Because you kind of have a yard sale if you open it the other way. find the appropriate remover. Let me get the right wrench for that. Why am I not ever prepared? Okay. You guys catching that? Are you in frame? All right, you will need snap ring pliers. So let's get those. And launch that somewhere. They don't have the tool that removes the pulley, but what you can use is a jaw puller. I don't know if you can hear that, right? All right, this is a pretty big pulley, so I don't mean big, but I mean substantial. So where you're using the two-jaw puller, it shouldn't bend it. Okay, that's pretty thick. All right, now there is another set of meaning there's one more snap ring inside kind of difficult. You're limited to the amount of space. So once you lift once you get it out of the groove, then you can kind of lift up on it. Maybe not. It looks like it's still connected in the groove towards the back of it. There we go. Okay, and then this the solenoid, whatever that's called, for the clutch comes off. It is clocked, okay, and it'll only go back. Pretty sure it will only go back one way. No, I thought it was. I wish I would have known that, because it seems like this pulley was, or this compressor was messed with. Because this wasn't lining up the way I wanted it to. Maybe I'm making stuff up. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can change the position of where the wires are. All right, there's these three little pins that go into the three bosses of the compressor. You can pull it down even further if you want. Well, even if you don't want, I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, I just deformed that. There's like a wick that goes in there that goes around the clutch. There's another snap ring in there, but this is as far as we're going to pull it apart. All right, and this is how you change your clutch and your pulley. There are different size pulleys. There's like 5 1/4, 5 inch. For the when you buy a replacement pulley, it'll ask you what size it is. Let's go over reassembly. And push the wick back in. This housing that I destroyed. Change the shape of it. Like no. All right, if this is the top of the compressor, it would work better for me, because I think it was like over on this side, and it was causing the wires to stretch a little bit. But if I clock it on that side, it'll be fine. And put our inner snap ring in. There we go. Okay. what am I looking for? A hammer. Seeing it's like kind of bound up. I don't know if that's, I mean, I know it's not normal, but so if you just tap it around where it spins the best. Yeah, see, that's kind of binding it up again. That spins good there. I don't know what the situation is with that. There is a Woodruff key inside this. The manual says to place the Woodruff key into the shaft first and then place the pulley on it. So let's do that. I need a little screwdriver. There we go, a little Woodruff key. You guys even see that? Yeah, Woodruff key. Not too much. Let's try that again. Okay. And then we'll line up the clutch with the Woodruff key. I almost forgot. There's a snap ring and a washer. That you have to take out to get the installation tool in. All right. I'm going to use a pick. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to, because I just broke one of the end of the clips off. There we go. Perhaps. Nope. Maybe. Yeah, and then we can launch it. Cool. We launch it across the garage. Don't have to worry about it. And then we get on the other side and try to tap it out, see why it's getting held up inside the groove of the snap ring. Alright, and keep tapping it from underneath. Let's see what happens. Okay. Let's try this again. We'll put the Woodruff key in. Line up the slot with the Woodruff key onto the shaft. Get our installation tool. That's not it. It screws on to the shaft and then screws on to this. All right, and we'll use this part to force the clutch. Now there is a measurement for adjusting the clutch. I don't know what that is. But all I know is if you tighten it down too far, the C-clip, even when it's not touching, when the clutch isn't touching the pulley, the face of the pulley, the C-clip won't go in right. But since we don't have the C-clip anymore, I guess we don't have that problem. I mean, I don't know why the C-clip was there. If the nut that we're going to be putting in holds it in place anyway. I think that's a little bit too close. Well, it would have been too close without the C-clip. Are you guys in frame? Put the washer back in place, then you put your C-clip. There you have it. Thanks for watching the LH4X4 doing stuff, working on 1976 Chevy Corvette AC system. Come on back, we'll go through the installation process. So appreciate all the new views. Leave a comment. I will try to respond. If you are going to leave a comment, do me a solid and subscribe. So you guys have a blessed day, and we'll see you at the next one.